What is up? Welcome to the JP Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Kondyke, along my co-host, Perry Chumfor. Today we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs. And we'll start with this morning with some breaking news. Nikola Jokic was awarded the MVP award. And we're going to talk about how he did in the series against the Warriors as they lost 4-1. So what were your thoughts about that series going into it? Did you think the Nuggets would have a chance?
Yes. Jokic is dominant. This is his second year in a row winning the award. Nothing surprising from him. He just did his thing.
Yeah, so obviously they fell short by a lot, went to 5 games. Curry had an outstanding performance, as well as Klay Thompson and the rest of the team. But Klay Thompson he's been falling off a little bit. His stats have been going down since last year's. Obviously, he came off torn ACL, which he did, I believe, twice. So yeah, he's not been performing as well, but he is still shooting pretty well. And so they won that series 4-1. Was there any surprises to you in this series?
No, Curry obviously did his thing also. Klay is steadily declining, which you acknowledge, but I noticed that with a lot of players currently. I feel like the new generation of players are like causing the old ones to play worse in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that. So like you look at new talent like Ja Morant.
Yeah, like all of them are.
Do you think these new players are like hogging the ball more?
I don't know about hogging the ball, but I feel like with all this new competition and the way they play, it's harder for players like Klay Thompson to pop out like Curry does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't know about much players on the Grizzlies. I know like Ja Morant is obviously their star player, and I believe he had like 47 points in Game 3.
Yeah,
That's unreal. So, yeah, he definitely takes a lot of shots for sure, which probably obviously causes other players not to get the ball as much, like more chances. So, do you think that's happening in Golden State?
Golden State.
With like Curry, do you think Curry's shooting more?
No, I think he's still shooting around the same amount. He's still scoring a lot. It's hard for him to really shoot more considering he already shoots so much.
Yeah.
So
I guess we can see that not with Curry, but with what is Jordan Poole's name?
yeah, Jordan
Yeah,
Poole.
Jordan Poole. He's been an absolute stud for Golden State.
Yeah, nobody expected that out of him recently.
Is he a rookie?
I am not sure.
He's a very young player, but
Yeah.
he's playing very well at the best time because he didn't do much during the regular season, and all of a sudden he's just been an absolute stud for the Warriors, and that's definitely what they needed to get back to another championship. Let's go over to the Celtics. The Celtics have been playing very well, but now they're down 2-1 versus the Bucks, but they had obviously swept Brooklyn. They absolutely clamped Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
How do you think they did that?
I love to watch that series. Love Kyrie not playing well, if I'm being honest with myself. And yep. I love seeing them walk off the court game 4 with the losing, losing getting swept. And you have them now down 2-1. You know, Giannis is a very hard player to guard. He's not like KD or Kyrie. You know, he's huge, so it's just much harder to guard him. Mm-hmm. And you have Tatum playing worse in Game 3. So it's, even though they were so close, he only scored 10 points in Game 3. But I mean, you know, they still have a very good shot at beating them.
Yeah. So they actually play tonight. What do you think the Celtics have to do tonight to get the series tied up?
Lock in. You know, it's anybody's game. You have to figure out a plan to stop Giannis. Even though he doesn't shoot very well, he's still very dominant, and you have to be able to stop that. And any other players, you know, just play good defense and try to get the ball movement well and score the ball. You know, you'll be able to beat them easily.
Yeah, I definitely need to recreate that Game 2. See Grayson Allen get crossed up a couple more times.
I love seeing that.
Yeah, no, that was a great play. Jaylen Brown absolutely snatched his. It was Jaylen Brown, right?
Yeah,
he snatched his ankles, falling over.
Yeah,
great offense from the Celtics.
They're saying it was a push off, which is completely cap.
Yeah, no, that's cap. That was a great play. What else we got here? Bucks and the Bulls, first round. Bucks won 4-1. I don't think that's anything surprising. Any surprises there?
I didn't really watch too much of that. I think I only watched one game, but no, nothing surprising.
The Bulls have a great roster, but they have no depth. So obviously, I don't think they're going to be able to compete with better teams, and that obviously they did not, as they lost 4-1 in the series. The Bulls had like 3 wins out of like 25 games against top 3 opponents in each conference, which literally shows how they can't compete versus top teams. So no surprises there.
I feel like the Bucks are a definitely beatable team, though. You have one really dominant player, and the rest are just kind of in the shadow. If you're able to stop that one dominant player, you can really make that team like force their liabilities to shoot more, and that'll help them win the game.
I completely agree. It's just Giannis is such a good player. It's like, I don't know. Do you know how tall he is? He's 7-something.
He's 7'1", 7'2", I'd
He's
say.
pure muscle. Just he runs right through you. It's impossible to guard that guy. So if you can, you should win every time. Suns and Pelicans first round. Pelicans actually picked up 2 wins against the Suns. It kind of surprises me, but I believe the Suns had some injuries. Was Booker out a game, I believe? I think Booker was out a game. But still, there's a lot of depth on that Suns roster. So that did surprise me in the first round. What else we got here? Hawks and the Heat. Heat took care of business.
Yeah, he's doing really well this season overall.
The Grizzlies and the Wolves went 6 games. Grizzlies picked up 4 out of 2 of those. That series did surprise me a little bit. I thought Timberwolves definitely could have won that series. I think the Grizzlies are an overrated team led by just Ja Morant. I don't really know any players on that team, as I said before, which proves that they don't really have a lot of talent, because you would hear a lot about those players.
Yeah, when you have a talent like Ja Morant, you're gonna expect them to be overrated no matter what. Ja Morant's scoring 40+ points a game. They're gonna end up being overrated in my opinion.
Timberwolves. You look at that series, you go back, and they had like some protests going on. Timberwolves had a lot of stuff going on with their organization that might have well caused them problems. They have a good roster, but all that stuff just like drains your emotions and stuff. So I wonder if that played a fact into why they sold some games. Like they had a 20-point game. They're up by 20 points in one of the games, and they blew it in like the fourth quarter. You can't be doing that in playoff games. Mavs and Jazz. This one surprised me a little bit. Jazz lost that series. I think that's the only series in the first round that surprised me. There was no upsets in the first round, but this is the one upset I think would have happened. You have Luka Doncic, but you have guys like Rudy Gobert on Jazz who are just huge force at the center position. Do you know who the Mavericks center is?
I do not.
Yeah, I don't know much about that team. I know they got Luka Doncic, who's obviously a stud.
Yeah, very good player.
But all these teams have one good player you look at, and you would think teams with more depth would be able to stop them, but sometimes that's just not the case. That's what I thought about Denver and Nikola Jokic. You would think they would have a chance against the Warriors, but the Warriors just have so much depth, and they have Steph Curry, obviously.
See, that's where I predict my finals. I look at the teams that have more than one solid player, and that's why I have the Celtics and the Warriors going at the not at the complete finals, but like the finals. Because look, they have Jordan Poole, they have Clay, and they have Curry. While the Celtics have Tatum, Brown. They have multiple players that can, and they have the best defense. So I feel like those two.
That would be my prediction as well. I think whoever wins the series between Boston and Milwaukee is winning the championship because of the depth on their teams and the ability to play defense. And they say defense wins championships, and I think so. So I think Golden State, you'd say they have the best offense, right? Yeah. I'd say the Warriors have the best offense in the league. Celtics have the best defense in the league. And I think that would just make for a perfect finals matchup, which I would see Celtics coming out on top, because you got to go with a little bias there, but you got to go with Boston. So talk about Tatum. How do you think he's been playing? He's been up and down lately.
Excluding the game 3, he's been playing great actually. Like he normally scores the most, one of the most, and we have other players that are solid on defense, which is all we needed for a well-rounded team to make it very far.
So we go into round 2 a little bit. We look at the Embiid injury, and it cost him a few games, but he's back, and now they're winning. The series is tied at 2, and all the other series are tied up right now. Besides Celtics, they play tonight,
and they're gonna make it tied up. Let's watch that.
I think Celtics win tonight as well. And that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you for listening to the JP Podcast. We'll see you next time. I'm your host, Jeff Koenig, alongside Perry Chumfor.
Perry's out.
Have a good night.